Hi, guys, welcome to the first edition of our podcast, Sisterhood and Self. And today we'll be talking about exploring female relationships. I'm excited to have you join us on the first edition of our podcast. And it's going to be an exciting time. We're going to be learning and then we'll get to explore female relationships and how we can strengthen some of those female relationships. So before we begin, I would introduce myself, but I have a quote here that says that there's something powerful about women supporting women, but it always comes with a cost. So my name is Grace Hosea, and I'm here with my co-host, who is
My name is Patience Abilu Anthony, and you're welcome to our first episode of Sisterhood and Self.
yeah. So we'll be going straight into it. Um, So the first, we'll be answering some set of questions to help us get to know more about exploring female relationships.
Yes.
And the first question I have here is, how do you? What is the first
This is
question?
my first question.
Okay.
So, what do you value most in your future relationship? So, we are going to be discussing, we're going to be hearing from my co-host here, who is my very good friend, and I'm also going to also be chipping in from my experiences also. So, first of all, what do you value most in your female relationships so far?
Okay. I would say I value the time spent together. Female friendships are very powerful. So getting to spend time with your friend, the bonding, the way you strengthen your relationship, and it goes a long way in building what you and that person have. So aside the time we have spent, it gives you memories. You create lasting memories for a lifetime that even if you're no longer together due to distance, or it could be marriage or anything, it has a way of of you being passionate, always recalling and reflecting on those memories, and
Yes.
they create a lovely it gives you a lovely feeling when you meditate on those memories, or you remember some of those memories that you have with your friend.
Okay. I think for me, what I value most in um my female relationships, you have there are lots of females around, but then there are very few people that can be within your close circle. So I'm literally talking about those that are within my close circle, and one of the things I value most in my female relationships, e.g., our relationship, is how
Yeah.
that we we kind of have same focus and we complement each other. How that we have alike visions. So we know we want to succeed in whatever we do. There's the goal of being successful, and there's the goal of putting in the effort to become successful. So
Yeah.
having someone that understands your point of view and someone that can relate with where you're coming from or where you're going to, it's something that is very valuable, and you don't really often get it anywhere. So that is really what I value very much in my female relationships. So, secondly, share a story of a friendship that deeply shaped you, like a friendship that maybe changed your perspective about certain things, a friendship that inspired you to be who you are today or who you want to be. Just tell us.
Okay. So when I was first semester of my postgraduate study, I had this friend. We're coming from two different backgrounds and all of that. But somehow we connected and then we built a beautiful friendship. And I actually became very serious during our postgraduate studies because of her. She would motivate me. When I need attention, she would give me that attention. And basically, we spent a lot of time doing things together. We go for lectures together. And for me, that was a moment where things had really transformed or changed between us. Like I said, we're coming from two different backgrounds, but somehow we came together to have a middle ground
Yeah,
and we became very good friends. And till today, that friendship is still blossoming. So I think that's one of the very wonderful experiences I've had building
that has
female
shaped
friendship that
you.
has shaped my life.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I can relate with that also. Over the years, I have met, growing up, we usually would have female friends that we started with as kids.
Yeah.
that were within our circle, maybe church members or family friends, friends we just got to know through our parents and all of that. And
Yeah.
most of the time, there is little effort that is being put in because regardless, they would always be within the circle. But then over the years, as you begin to grow older and you begin to meet other women, you begin to meet other ladies, your friendships are more deliberate. You find friends who go out of their way. I think at some point I had never received a birthday gift from anybody before. But then you meet friends that do things as little as that that really doesn't mean anything. And I think one of the things that has shaped me is that female friendship has inspired me to be much more vulnerable, and how that you can just be yourself with this person. You can cry with this person. You can lament when the world is turning upside down and your life activities is turning
Yeah.
somehow. You have this person that you can be vulnerable to and you can open up yourself to, and that has really shaped and changed my perspective. Rather than just growing up and assuming you have it all figured out, you're the independent lady that can figure everything out, or meeting with certain ladies that are very deliberate about relationship helps to just make you become that person and helps inspire you to want to be better. So that's one of the ways I have my thoughts have been shaping through relationships. So we can both agree that female relationships are a must have.
Yeah, definitely.
Female circle is a must have, and you don't need to have an age gap. Like, it doesn't have to be your mate.
Yes,
You can
before
be
you
friends with
can.
people that are older. You
Or
can
even
be friends with people
younger.
that are younger, like people that can learn from you, people you can also learn from. For example, in our time today now, we are the millennials and we
Yeah,
have
then we
the
have a
Gen
lot of
Zs.
Gen Zs.
Yes. So it's easy for you to just assume you are old enough and cannot roll with them. But
Yeah,
with the way things are changing in the world, you and I can testify that sometimes there are things you learn from these
from
Gen
the
Zs.
Gen Zs.
These Gen Zs are kind of more outspoken,
Bold.
they are more independent,
Yeah.
they know what they want and they go for it. But our generation just grew up knowing that we have to be okay or manage with whatever we have. And bottom line is, every female relationship has something you can learn from, and do not restrict yourself to an age gap that this is the set of people you want to be friends with. Allow yourself to explore female relationships and you see what it can do for you.
All right. So I think that really answers that question. So moving forward, I also have a question here that says, how do you navigate distance or conflict with close friends? So I want to ask you, have you had conflicts before? Because I know conflict is an integral part of relationships and
Yes.
female friendships. And how did you navigate towards that conflict? And
Okay. I think um naturally I'm not the kind of person that likes to engage in when there's a rift. I just step back a bit. But I think there is this my friend that our parents knew each other and then eventually we became friends with her, and she is very outspoken. Like, when something is not okay, she says it. And I think we've had 2 3 occasions where we have gone months without talking. Then along, I think the first one, I was one that later on came up, and then we had to sit down and talk about it and resolve it. And the second one, I think she was the one that came up, and understanding comes in when conflict comes up. So
yeah,
you need to understand that you have accepted this person, and at that point you cannot begin to ask yourself, is this friendship worth it? Is friendship not worth it? Or maybe let's just go our separate ways. But then by the time you begin to look at the good sides of this person, most of the time it is what's going forward to resolve conflict. I think among my friends, she's one of the person that is so deliberate with how much she's the person that can fight. When somebody offends me and I
yeah,
get over it, she doesn't get over it. She can fight, fight for. So people like that, and you first of all need to know that, you need to ask yourself, is the friendship worth it? Is it worth resolving the conflict?
yeah,
And be sure that during the conflict there was no hatred. You can be in conflict with somebody, and you can also see how deliberate they are in what they feel for you and how they can go forward towards ensuring that your friendship comes back. So best way to resolve it is literally just understanding who this person is and sitting down to talk about it. And see how much they can give in and how much you can give in, so you can meet in the middle and then resolve it.
Okay, so I think you really done justice to that question. So we're moving forward to another very important question here that says, have you experienced friendship breakups?
No, I think you need to answer the previous
Yeah,
one. The
okay.
previous one, yes.
I
Have you
think
had your own share of conflicts?
yes, I
And
have.
how
I've
did you
actually
resolve
had
it?
a lot conflict in my um relationships, my friends, yeah, female friends. One of the things I do is when there's a conflict, one of the things I do is to observe who is really at fault. Was it me? Did I have a sober reflection? Did I overreact to that situation? Or maybe there is more. And then if I reflect and I notice that possibly there is no fault coming from my end, and maybe it's from the other person or from the other partner, I would actually give the person time to realize the person's mistake. But if I notice that I've given you time and you did not, I will then approach you and then we'll see how we can come to resolution, some of
Yeah.
those things. And then there are times you even approach the person and the person is not giving you a listening ear, then you just back off.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you
True.
just back
You
off.
just need to be sure that the person is really,
Yeah, but at least give it a try.
yeah,
Give it a try.
yeah.
If after giving it a try and then you notice that the person is not really willing to open
You
up or
just let it
to
slide.
let it slide.
Yeah,
So,
eventually you'd eventually meet very good people along the way later on as you go.
yeah. So
So yeah, your next
and
question.
the next question here is, have you experienced friendship breakups? I think I will start with that. Yes, I have experienced a lot of friendship breakups, and I must say it's very painful. Friendship breakups are uh much, I wouldn't say that they are more painful than heartbreaks of relationship, of maybe male relationships or romantic relationships. But you have somebody you bond with, you have somebody you like so much, and then all of a sudden you're having a misunderstanding and there is no reconciliation. Like the friendship does not have room for you've tried to reconcile, but it didn't work out.
Yeah.
So it's really painful because you didn't envision that it's going to end that way. And then this is like your personal person, and then all of a sudden and then you have to start reflecting on the times you've spent together and all of these things. So I must really say, coming from experience, I've had that personal experience. I really took her more than like a friend. I took her like a sister. And at the end of the day, she just ghosted.
Wow.
And I tried to reach out to know what exactly is the problem and all of that, but I didn't get any positive feedback. And this is somebody who spent not 1 year together in school, we spent
Yes.
years in school, and boom, she ghosted me. And
There's nothing
I
can
really
happen.
wished there was an explanation. At least you know that okay, this is where can we resolve it. But so it's really painful. Like I said, it's actually more painful than romantic relationships.
Actually.
So,
Because
but yeah,
with female friends you can literally just be yourself.
yes,
But with a romantic relationship, a part of you just wants to still maintain that I'm okay in the head somehow. But female relationship makes you vulnerable, so it definitely will hurt better. But I think on my side, I've not had breakups in female relations. I don't think I've had any friend that I really do not talk to at all. I've not had that. I don't always have conflicts, or I don't always have fights in relationship. I think that's one of the things that um helps with knowing the kind of people you have within your circle over time. As much as you can't really um shy away from having conflict. Conflicts are meant to happen, misunderstandings happen, even with siblings. I mean, misunderstandings happen. So, but I've not had any conflicts.
okay.
We've had misunderstandings, yes, but I've not had conflict that has led to breakup. We either maybe do not talk for a period of time, probably maybe friends I met in school that now are distant, or friends that get married, and once they get married, they begin to look for the married gang, and you're not the single gang. So of course the relationship gets strained over time. But then
Yeah,
I think we still meet. I have friends I've known since I was a child, like I was a child, and we still talk, though not all the time, but I've not had any breakups. So but I
okay,
believe it must be really hurtful.
is that right? All right, moving further, we also answering the question: do you believe women supporting women is enough? Why or why not? Do you believe women supporting women is enough?
I
Why or why
think
not?
it's not enough. Though I believe this what we are beginning to try. We're trying to do better. And that
Yeah,
is why we're hosting something like this. We're trying to do better these days. But then, regardless, you still find us say we prefer having male friends than we have female friends. Because, of course, guys, men don't really, men are logical people. So they don't always put in emotions into certain things like women do. So you find issues that can just go under the rug for women do not. But for men, they just let it slide because men are always going to be men. So I really do not think we have enough, but I know we can do better, and I know we are working towards doing better, but then we need to work more because I believe female relationships are one of the ways that can build women better. For example, we now that are trying to thrive in the space of career, or are trying to thrive in the world out there, you most of the time want to look up to a woman who is doing what you
Yeah,
want to
doing.
do or doing better, and you
Yeah.
want to look up to her. And usually within the circle, it's really difficult. I don't know if you've seen any, you've had any woman within our circle here that you can say this is somebody that can be your mentor. It's really difficult. You can only have few of those women that have gone way ahead of us, like
Yeah.
the Ibuko Awashika kind of woman.
Yeah.
Then you have the Obe Ezekwesili, those kind of women that you really cannot have a personal relationship with them, but then you have to look up to them over there. We need to build more people within our circle so we can be able to reach down to not just we, but also reach down to teenagers that are coming up so they can have better understanding on how to shape their life concerning career, concerning academics, concerning romantic relationships, and all of that. And I believe over time, they said a woman is the one that raises a society. So she nurtures a society and she's able to give in all of her best. And I believe when we can build this over time, we'll be able to see the changes that it will bring to our young girls out there.
Okay, I think she has really said a lot about this question. I would also point out on over time it had not been like that before, but there's improvement, just like she has said, and there's also room for mentorship. The essence of women supporting women is for older women to mentor younger women so that they can achieve better than what they've done. So this is it. Young people look up to older women take it as a part of your responsibility to mentor younger women so that we can transform the world and make the world a better place.
Yeah, it's very important. So,
Yeah,
I think, okay, lastly,
yeah.
share a friendship red flag or a green flag moment you've had. When was that moment where you just
Hmm.
knew this person, I'm keeping this person for the long run? Or no, this
Okay,
person is, I'm doing away with her.
okay. Let me talk about the red flag aspect. Maybe you can talk about the green as flag. So, I think there are instances I've met people, I've met friends, and then maybe from their kind of lifestyle, I would say, okay, I know that we are not compatible.
Yeah,
Maybe she has something she does that doesn't really sit well with me, and maybe I've tried to talk to her about it, and she feels that it's either I tolerate that in her or I
or
let
you
it
just
go.
let
So
it
for
go.
me, when I notice that um we are not compatible or we have a lot of differences, for me it's quite a red
It's
flag.
a big red flag for
Yeah.
you.
So
Yeah,
compatibility is really important for
very,
me,
very
and
important. Yes,
I
I think,
just once I notice we're not compatible,
yeah,
it's a
just
red
let
flag
it
for
go.
me,
Yeah.
and then I let it go.
True. I think compatibility is a green flag,
Yeah.
of course. So you, like I mentioned earlier, you can only work with a friend, be it male or female. I think you can only work with somebody who understands your voice, can relate to where you're headed, where you're coming. Somebody that can understand where they have to come in, where they should come in, where they need to come in. So compatibility is a green flag, like you said, and I totally agree with that. And also, I think being deliberate is very important because being deliberate is one of the things that will stand out over time when conflict comes in. The fact that this person is deliberate about keeping
Yeah.
this relationship,
Yeah.
this person is deliberate about remembering the good times and all the memories that comes with what we have experienced over time. It's very important, and I'm not going to forget the last one,
Okay.
somebody that loves good food. I think that's one of the things we have in common. We love good food. It's we love good food. That's just all I can say. Anytime we're going anywhere, we think about where we can get the best food, and it's very important. I mean, food is belly for the food, food for the belly.
So I think it's really, really a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Really been able to discuss about what are the expectations in the female friendships, what are the things you look out for, and those things that are really like red flags for you in relationships, and why it's important for women to support women. So it's been a wonderful time on the first edition of our podcast. We hope to have you watch more subsequent editions and have a wonderful time learning and also getting to share from our experiences, because we've actually built this friendship since childhood.
Yeah, I think,
So we've been friends for
at
more
some
than
point,
20 years.
yes. I think at some point when we got admission and went to school, we weren't,
We drifted
because we
apart
went
a
to
bit.
different schools, of course.
Yeah.
But then eventually, when we came back and
We graduated and all of
we
that.
had same ideas about life and needed to just, and I think we've accomplished a lot together.
Yeah, actually,
We've
we'll be
had
talking about that, more of
vacations.
that. We'll talk about more of that in
Yeah,
subsequent editions. So it's really been a
it's been
wonderful time.
amazing. Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching. I remain Grace Fusia, and
Okay,
please,
before we leave,
yeah,
so we want to just send a word out there. If you could tell your younger self something about women,
yeah.
what will it be?
Um, don't be afraid to explore friendships with other people, because you need to associate with other people. I think that's one of the things that I that sets me back. I was always scared of wanting to maintain female friends, but
Yeah.
I've seen that there are so many opportunities. You create beautiful memories. So I would advise my younger self to not be afraid to make friends. Don't be afraid to make friends.
Yeah.
Explore.
Yeah. I think I would also I would advise my younger self to not be scared of losing friends. I think at some point I had that fear. I had people I grew up with that I thought we were going to still be very close, you know. But then you need to understand that as we grow older and our perspective changes about life, we begin to see things differently. We move to new cities, we get married, we give birth, we lose a family and all of that. It shapes
Yeah.
our mindset and we begin to, of course, drift away. So I think I would advise my younger self to not be scared, to just allow it flow and be real and natural. Do not allow an experience you had with another friend, another female friend, shaping the new one you're going to have. Just pick those lessons and decide to do better with the next set of friends you meet. So until we see you next time.
Yeah. Bye, and thanks for watching.
Yes.